Welcome to my quarantine routine. I wake up in the morning and I go to work and I go to my meetings, and then I fill the rest of my day out with busy work, with essentially meaningless things. So I could feel important and I could feel busy and I could feel like I am doing something with my life. I realized that after watching a YouTube video, and the person talks about how doing more doesn't actually make you a productive person, it just makes you a busy person. And so I wanted to explore that, and I wanted to explore that with something called the 80-20 rule. Imagine yourself making a to-do list of 10 things to do. 2 of those things out of the 10, at the end of the day, it'll make up 80% of how you want your life to go, of your desired outcome, of your results, of your desired results. And so it's 20% of the things that you have to do create 80% of a desired outcome. That's what it is. The 80-20 rule is a really great example of why/how doing less equates to producing more, giving out more. And it's because you're actually focusing on the vital things, the important things, the things that really matter to you. And because they matter to you, you're going to be putting in more of that effort. You're going to be putting in more of that heart, and you're going to be getting an outcome that you want. I don't know if that was redundant. That sounds really redundant. I want to learn how to apply this rule while I am also working full-time remotely. And so I want to learn how to balance that professional life with hobbies that are important to me and with people that are important to me. So I have more of a personal work-life balance. So the 80-20 rule sounds very straightforward, but there are some things that we have to do mentally and emotionally first before we can start applying it. So let's take a step back. I came across this really great TED Talk by Bethany Butzer, who is an author, a researcher, a lecturer, a speaker, pretty much superwoman. And she talks about 2 different types of efforts. The first one is called the upstream effort. So let's visualize it like the way that she did in the TED Talk, as if we're rowing on a river or something, I guess. Rowing. And essentially, upstream effort is as if you're rowing upstream. So you're going against the currents, against the wave, and you're paddling, and you're really working hard, and you're getting tired, and you're really, really working hard to get that last breath in so you can row the dang boat. But it feels like you're going nowhere. It doesn't feel like you're actually moving. And a lot of us are familiar with this because it's something that we've been told our whole lives. We've been told that nothing in life comes easy. You have to really fight for something that you really want. And it's kind of a very sad thing to say. Then there's effort number 2, the downstream effort. This is the type of effort that we want to be making. This is us paddling downstream. Essentially, we're going with the flow of the waves, and we're not exerting too much effort, but we're still rowing, We're still making sure that we're going in the direction that we want to go. But it's a little easier. It feels easier. We're not as tired. It's not as time-consuming. You're not scared of whether or not you're going to be stuck somewhere. You're moving, right? You're moving. Bethany says that when we're making downstream efforts, we're actually enjoying the ride. We're taking our time because we know that we'll get to the destination eventually. And because we know we're going to get there eventually, we lose all of our attachments to the goal, to the end goal. And instead, we focus our attention and focus our time on the process. And we trust the process. We'll get there eventually. So now let's go back to the 80-20 rule. You and I want to learn how to do less, but we want to also feel like we're achieving a lot more. That's the same idea as what Bethany wants us to do. She wants us to do less and achieve more. And in order to do that, we need to start learning how to make downstream efforts. But before we can all learn to stop being such tryhards, we have to learn how to do these 2 things first. The first one is to identify your values. So what are some of your values? What is your idea of a value? To me, a value is something that guides me. It's my compass. They are things that I believe in, things that matter to me, things that are important to me. So a value can be friendship, family, loyalty, efficiency. It can be something like love and romance, having a social life. I think this is really important because, as I said before, your values can serve as a compass. It gives you direction, and it's like a general idea that helps you make decisions. Something I also want to point out is that identifying your values is different from identifying a vision. Because to me, a vision is short-sighted, and it sort of has the implication that it's set in stone. It might also mean that to you, a vision is just a destination. You're gonna do anything you can, everything you can to get to where you want to be. But that means that you might be neglecting things that you need, things that actually matter to you. And so by identifying your values and realizing that values come first, you're also allowing yourself to be open to change. You're allowing yourself to be open to changing those values, to understanding that as a person, you're ever changing. Now, the second step to a 4-day work week is 2, identifying your feelings.
Feelings?
Yes, your feelings. Your feelings are very important. Your feelings are what makes you human. Your conscious is what makes you human. And then your feelings come after that. But your feelings, having feelings is a very human thing, is essentially what I'm trying to say. And so when you identify your feelings, you should ask yourself questions like, how do I want to feel during the day? How do I want to feel at the end of the day? How do I want to feel when I'm doing these certain tasks or when I don't do these certain tasks? What am I feeling? That's also very important, is understanding how you feel in the moment, picking that out and learning to express it and articulate it to yourself. You don't have to do it for anyone else, it's for you. Another important thing too to understand is that it's okay to feel negative emotions. It's something that my therapist taught me. It's okay to feel negative emotions. It's okay to feel sad, to feel frustrated, to feel angry, to feel annoyed. What isn't okay is to ignore that and to pretend like you're all right. I'm learning to cope with my negative emotions, my feelings of anger, frustration, impatience, and I'm learning how to cope with it by doing everyday things through everyday life. And I'm learning how to wash the dishes and do chores and go to work and do things that I'm passionate about, while also being okay with feeling sad or being a little frustrated. Being alone isn't just me dwelling. It isn't just me ignoring that I have those emotions. It's me taking the time to reflect, taking the time to understand why I might be feeling that way and how I want to feel when I feel that way. So take the time to sit down and reflect, to recollect yourself, to be more understanding and to be more patient with how you're feeling. So following these 2 rules is going to lead to us to making more authentic decisions, to making decisions where we have a lot of integrity in it. And there are going to be times where it feels very difficult. We're going to make decisions that are against the grain, where people close to us are telling us that we're making a mistake. But because we have identified our values, identified how we feel, and learned how to feel, we will start making decisions that feel more like us, that feel whole, that feel nice and warm, that feel like we're on the right path. All right, Steph, so how do we know then if we're making downstream efforts? From my own personal experience, there are at least 2 ways to know, to feel like you're going the right way. The first one is that you have feelings of fulfillment, even after making some upstream efforts. A good example would be how I make these YouTube videos. I procrastinate because I don't know how to schedule my time during this quarantine. And sometimes I want to rip my hair out and I get anxiety, and anxiety does not smell good. It does not smell good. Whenever I upload these YouTube videos, whenever I finish it, whenever I show it to my friends and my family, I feel so fulfilled afterwards that after all the work that I did, after all the suffering that I did, I know I did the right thing, and it feels like I did the right thing. The second hint that tells you that you're starting to make downstream efforts is that you're having a little more rendezvous with sweet serendipity. Serendipity is a lucky happenstance. 2 years ago, I decided to work on myself, and then I happened to meet my very lovely girlfriend, Jennifer. And it just happened to be that I just stopped thinking about what other people thought of me, and I started working out more, and I started sleeping better, and I started to do what feels right to me, that I happened to meet the love of my life. Because you're making more efforts with integrity towards things you really want in life, toward things that really matter to you, then you will be more keen on seeing and identifying opportunities, and you'll grab them, and you'll be more keen on identifying people that you want to be surrounded with. So now that you have figured out how you feel and what really matters to you, what an upstream effort is like and what a downstream effort is like, Let's go back to the 80-20 rule. Let's try making that to-do list one more time. Let's find that magic 20% of things that you have to do so that 80% of the time you feel like you're living a more authentic and a content life. And as always, I'm learning with you. I want to learn how to balance the 80-20 rule and the upstream, downstream efforts and balance my full-time work with my personal life and hobbies. I want to wake up happy about the new day, feeling like there's everything and anything that I could do to feel accomplished and fulfilled, as long as it's aligned with my values, right? It's aligned with what matters to me and how I feel and what I really want. The best piece of advice that I've ever been told is that trying and doing something halfway, or even not finishing what you do, is better than not having done it at all.